where we are now is really interesting with a lot of curvaceous forms that sort of lend itself to the landscape. And I often think, the furniture, like what furniture is appropriate for the Australian landscape as well, and just try to be inspired by nature and sometimes biophilic design, like by way of my Pippi table or looking at colours of the Australian landscape and doing the rammed concrete legs in those colours. So just try and tie in cues from the locality of nature and bring that in.
Welcome to Behind the Design, a podcast where we unfold the details behind the designs we know and love and explore how each project comes to life. I am Camilla Ingall, owner of Unfolded, an interior design and styling studio. In this podcast series, we dive into the details with our industry experts, covering topics such as the creative process, latest design trends, and how we, as an industry, work together to meet the brief and overcome challenges. Let the conversation begin. Welcome back to Behind the Design. I'm your host, Camilla Ingall, interior designer and founder of Unfolded. Today, I'm joined by Daniel Boddam, architect and designer behind Daniel Boddam Studio, whose philosophy of quiet living has become synonymous with calm, refined Australian design. I've long admired Daniel's work. We first connected through Instagram recently, and what struck me immediately was our shared passion for meaningful, human-centered design. Well, Daniel, welcome to Behind the Design.
Thank you.
So nice to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
And so, start from the beginning. What led you into where you are today with Daniel Boddam Studio and architecture and then onto furniture?
It started probably at the age of 15, really. I was doing a woodwork class and we had an assignment to do a furniture piece, and the furniture piece was driven around sustainability, and I did mine out of car tires and cardboard. And
School?
This was at school, yeah. So I was inspired by Frank Gehry, who did a compressed cardboard seat that was really beautiful. So I took that as a precedence, and then we drove out to the warehouse where they were producing cardboard, and I had a conversation there, and just the energy and dynamics around that was super inspiring. And I was like, I really want to be in the market of producing some things through my creativity. And I was looking to furniture, and I really didn't want to know what I wanted to do in year 12. So I was, do I want to be a carpenter? Do I want to be an artist? Do I want to do furniture? And I was like, definitely want to do furniture. And then I looked up all my favorite furniture designers were all architects, and then both my parents are architects. So I grew up with architecture and understanding of it. Travels were centered very much around architectural projects and going to visit things overseas, as well as just seeing how things go together at home, and then decided to study architecture, and that's what kicked off my career.
Because you'd always had that passion for furniture design and craftsmanship, you went from studying architecture and getting into that, but then you've started the architecture now, but in the last how many years that you started the furniture?
9 years ago now.
Yeah. So you sort of came back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about that journey.
Architecture is a really demanding profession, and I feel like you really need to have a lot of time in the saddle to really get your technical skills up, and to really be seasoned. So I sort of felt like I didn't have capacity for anything else but architecture for quite some time, until I sort of felt really confident in the business and that I've got staff support as well, and systems and processes that I could then have a bit more spare time. And then I was like, okay, it's time to go back to that 15-year-old dream and bring it to fruition. So it started with my first piece, and then slowly been every year adding to it and building up a side business that's sort of starting to expand, which is good.
It's quite highly reputable now. Done quite well with it.
Yeah, thank you.
For something that's organic.
Yeah.
You know? But it just goes to show that you had such a passion for it. It wasn't just, I wanted to make a spare dollar.
No, it wasn't about commercial success at all. Really, it was just about designing things that I liked. And architecture for me, being in the luxury residential space, is one of my projects typically takes 4 years from start to finish. So it's quite a long process and quite a long journey to reach that sort of creative fulfillment at the end, rather than furniture is small scale and very much quite immediate. So within a 6-month time frame, you have something physical and tangible to test.
And do you find, you say the word immediate, and I find that quite interesting because it couldn't be more opposite to the journey of a project being 4 years.
Yeah.
So does it fulfill that need? Like, I know that sometimes I'm really patient with some things, and with other things I just want to get them done.
Yeah.
It's almost you've got that balance.
Yes, it does. It does, because you actually change a lot, and clients change a lot in that design journey as well. So in 4 years' time, you're sort of going, I wonder if my taste and sensibility is going to be the same. So you're sort of designing for that future self in some respects, rather than a shorter time frame. It's very much about the presence and immediacy of that.
Or when, people really need something for their space within 3 months.
Yeah.
Versus 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
I love how you just mentioned then a lot can change over that design journey with architecture. What are some of the things that you've found on that journey with clients that do change?
With clients, they change a lot. So I think things change in their lives, new additions to family members.
Changes a lot.
It changes a lot. Sometimes separations also changes a lot, or just market conditions. So things can change a lot, requiring you to redesign things. I'm currently just finished a project in Palm Beach where I designed it for one family, and they decided not to go ahead with the design, and then they sold it. And then I got to design the same project all over again for another family altogether, and the footprint stayed the same, but
The same house?
the same house
For the new owners?
Yeah. So
Interesting.
so the floor plan stayed exactly the same. Well, the floor plan relatively the same. Council approval, the envelope stayed fairly similar, but the building materials and aesthetics completely changed.
Finishes and
Yeah, and that was super interesting approach. Same journey, same time frame, 2 different families, 2 different sensibilities.
it is a lot to be the observer to, isn't it? And just
Yeah.
remain in your lane and what do you need?
Yeah, it was a really rewarding experience. I really loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so where are most of your projects?
Most of my projects I do a lot of work in Mossman. So I grew up in Mossman, and I guess I started my career there, and then through that, over the years, have developed a reputation there. So I'm doing quite a few new houses in Mossman. Just finished one in Palm Beach, doing one in Bellevue Hill, and potentially one in Randwick.
Exciting. And that's more near you, where you're
Yeah.
based. Yeah. And so how big's your team now?
Team of 6.
Okay.
So small studio.
Still, team of 6. Are they all full-time?
Yeah.
Pretty decent.
Yeah.
And have you got like a manager? To
Kind of 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah. So everyone manages themselves to some degree.
Okay.
Then I would be the main manager, and then I've got someone that helps with all the admin.
And how hands-on are you now?
Really hands-on still. Yeah.
Because you seem like such a creative. Like,
Yeah. I think when your name's associated with the studio, you really got to be hands-on.
yeah.
Even though staff are all fantastic, but very much so. I set the creative direction and do the overseeing of the technical aspects as well.
Yeah. And they say, I remember listening to an audiobook called The E-Myth. Have you heard of that one? I
No.
don't think of the author, but it's quite known for when people are just navigating what their role is in their own business.
Yeah.
Either starting a business or getting to that 4-year mark when you're still managing, where do I want to go? Who am I in this business? Just because you started it doesn't mean that you're the technician, for
Yeah.
example. And it was really, for me, I love that simplified approach, and it simplified picking your role and staying in your lane and then delegating to whatever's not your role, for example, or what you don't like doing. And it was the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician.
Oh, it's a great one.
It's so simplified.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, oh, okay, I wouldn't consider myself an entrepreneur. But when you unpacked what was under those subheadings, I actually was the entrepreneur. I'm okay managing clients, but managing staff is a whole nother ballgame. And then the technician, we all know how to be technicians, but you own and run the business. You can't be the technician all day long.
No.
You've got to wear all these other hats. So
Sure.
it actually really helped me develop kind of some like responsibility and ownership about what I'm good at and where
Yeah.
I should stay. And then if I expand, what roles need to be then fulfilled.
Yeah.
So it sounds similar to what you're saying, like a little bit of technician, a little bit of that. But
Yeah, it is a bit of that. It required some unpacking in the early years because I really felt like the court jester, juggling a lot of balls in the air all the time. And
Yeah.
I loved being the technician, so loved the creative and being the technician. But then business required me to move out of that into the entrepreneur space.
Yeah. Especially with the furniture, right?
Yeah, with the furniture, so still a bit of creative lead, but more in business development and more in that sort of zone, which required a lot more of a foundation of systems and processes to free up the time.
That's it. So admin heavy.
Yes.
Super exciting. The thing that you shouldn't leave till Friday because you'll never do it.
Yeah. Good hold admin.
I just love hearing how when everyone's gone on their journey in our industry, whether it's architecture or a builder or a supplier, all the different ways that you've come to where you are. And yeah, it's just so interesting hearing your architecture story that has then evolved into furniture. How do you now market the furniture and keep it separate to the architecture, or do they blend?
They started to blend. It's been a tricky process actually, because the moment I started furniture, people were like, "Oh, you've given up on architecture," and I was like, "No, not at all.
No, please don't think that.
I'm doing both." But it was very much, "Oh, you can't do both. Like it's one or the other."
Are these industry people? Or
clients, and one of them was a staff member who was my studio manager. Got quite upset at the time and was sort of like, "You need to pick one
how are you going to do it?
To develop and really focus your attention into." But it's been tricky. So yeah, some clients have understood it really well and understood that it's blended and that it's that I can do both, and others think that I favor one over the other. That they might think they're missing out if I'm doing the furniture or vice versa.
Or time's taken away from their project.
Yeah. And most of my clients in the furniture space are all interior designers and other architects as well.
Absolutely.
So when I first started, I was like, "Oh, is there a conflict of interest? Would that be a problem?" And it just hasn't been a problem at all. The industry's been incredibly supportive.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And you seem, from what I'm gathered from our meeting and chatting here now, you're a fairly grounded person. Like, you don't seem like someone who's too flippity. You just do things off the cuff. It's not considered, right?
Yeah.
Thoughtful. But it sounds like you're quite measured and you're quite thoughtful in your decisions.
Yeah, it's been a long dream to do furniture, so it's I was prepared to play a very long game in the industry. So yeah, I'll be doing it forever essentially.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's cool. And it's a part of your brand now.
Yeah.
I noticed, and we discussed the quiet living philosophy that you sort of are quite led by and believe in. Is that quite heavily within what you do? And can you expand on that?
Yeah, the studio's philosophy is centered around considered simplicity, and through that is really a quiet luxury. So quiet, understated elegance, looking at not shouting but belonging, and trying to be more of a human-centric approach and sort of sensorial. So it's about warm, livable spaces that have texture and warmth, that enable life to sort of happen there as well, and sort of has space to enable those experiences to happen without trying to dominate the experience.
I love that. Gosh, that sounds like you could write a book just on everything you just said. It's so warming. It's lovely. And so when you say sensorial, I would love for you to explain your definition of sensorial. Maybe some materials.
Yeah, so touch, smell, sound, that kind of thing. When I went to a couple of years ago to a Barragun project at San Cristobal Stables, he very much had a sensorial approach to architecture. So you could hear the horse hooves over the tactile surfaces echo through the courtyard, and then you'd have the injection of the water font breaking up that sound as well. So it was very much frame views of the sky and colors, sounds, that kind of thing. Like really simple, but really stunningly beautiful. And then taking that idea into the home, it's sort of just like all the touch points, the first sense of arrival sequence, the door handle, how's that presented? What kind of brass? Is it a living material, or do you want like a soft luster?
Will it patina?
Or yeah, exactly. Or do you want like warmth in wood and that kind of thing? So it's really just thinking about the materials and how they impact the senses in our environments.
This episode of Behind the Design is supported by Unfolded, my interior design and styling studio. At Unfolded, we believe great design isn't just about how a space looks, it's about how it feels. If you'd like to learn more about our projects or discuss your own, visit unfolded.com.au. Because I'm really into that also with upholstery.
Yeah.
Natural leathers and aged leathers.
Oh, nice.
Aniline leathers. I love all of that. I worked for Jardin.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, that was one of my first jobs out of uni. Oh, I should say, I was a baby. I was 22. And I remember learning about all the leathers. And I was just like, there's so many. And all of them look so different and function so differently and give such a different feel in a home, aged versus modern versus fresh versus a bit more warm and luxurious and, Chesterfield sofa versus a modern tan leather sofa. It's just so different.
Totally.
But yeah, it just reminds me of what you're saying. It's the look, the feel and the sensory side of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plays such big roles in what we do. And so then has that dictated as well, that philosophy, what you do with your furniture?
It has. Yeah, very much. So predominantly work with all natural materials, timbers, woods, one of my favorites to use, so American walnuts, oaks, that kind of thing. And always like honed surfaces. I really don't like shiny things. So it's very much
matte.
Very much like matte everything, favoring like living materials as well. So brasses and stuff that patina. Yeah.
So nice. It's like natural aging, isn't it?
Yeah. And then obviously with the upholstery, linens and that sort of thing.
Yeah. More earthy, natural, organic, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say matte, because I feel like sometimes I'm a bit like, oh God, do I need to dabble more with the gloss? I saw someone recently saying, we need to get a little bit more. It was on Instagram. It's like a Vogue Living Edit or something. And it was talking about getting a bit more brave with our homes and the way we live, which I'm much more like you. Like I think we share a very similar value around how the home looks and feels. And it was like gloss walls, gloss ceiling.
Oh, wow.
Which is not wrong. But I was like, oh, imagine everything would be almost reflective.
I grew up in a house like that.
Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool.
It was really cool. Yeah, my parents designed a house in the 70s, a new house, and it had black lacquered ceilings and chocolate and pinstripe carpet. And then it had large sort of expanses of mirrored walls that it was very like gloss, and it had the outside was like all glass, crystalline forms, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, cool.
It was cool. It was really cool. I loved it.
And did it feel homely? Because that's the only thing
It did. It felt
I
more.
hesitate.
It felt more like a playhouse because there were lots of nooks, and you could run up the outside of the house. You could run up the walls and touch the roof and slide back down. So it's a very
fun upbringing.
It's a very playful house.
Wow. And you've gone the other way. You're so natural and warm timbers and organic. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I never thought about that until now. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah, because it's interesting how I grew up horses, acreage.
Oh wow.
Water tanks.
Amazing.
It's 15 acres kind of energy. So
fantastic.
I'm not surprised that my design's more earthy and grounded.
Yeah.
My ideal design, I should say, an aesthetic. But yeah, it's interesting because you've gone the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you never know.
Might become a maximalist.
Yeah, that's it. We can have all of these, philosophies and the way that we like to have our brand and our aesthetic and what we like to do. How does that merge with your client brief as well? Do clients come in knowing this about you and really honoring that, or do you have to diversify a little bit?
Some do. You have to diversify sometimes, for sure. Yeah, to suit. Sometimes they might have very strong opinions about what kind of style they like, and it's quite tricky to navigate that sometimes. In the earlier years, when I was sort of saying yes to a lot more projects, That
all
was
been
more
there.
of an issue. Then
Yeah.
now it's sort of clients thankfully we're aligned in terms of the style. They understand when they come to me that they're going to receive a certain style, and that makes it a lot easier.
Like
But
appreciative of what you do.
they're appreciative of
Yeah.
what I do, and
Okay.
they're choosing me because that aligns with them, and that's what they'd like.
Yeah.
But sometimes the client may not want that, and they might want to take it in a different direction. So I guess it's like an education process of how can we create something together that's got a bit of this, but also a bit of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of middle ground.
Yeah.
And it's also, honoring us as designer, architect, and what we know will work.
Yeah.
As much as we know you love this and this is the direction you want to take, but as the experts, we'd love to guide you on how this could be executed.
Definitely. And there's an appropriateness to the landscape and to the built environment.
Absolutely.
I think building is just such an incredible privilege, and we really are custodians of the land in some respect, and you really need to take it seriously.
No, I love that. It's a great reminder.
Yeah.
Because you can get carried away with Pinterest boards, can't you? And then
Yeah.
kind of forget where you are.
Yeah.
That's what I love about, the marriage, let's call it, the complementary connection between an interior designer and an architect, because if we can honor what the other person's doing and take it quite seriously, as you say, I think it can really create a beautiful space.
Yeah,
whether
absolutely.
it's a home or any type of space.
And there's so much talent in Australia. Like I really think the design community here is just awesome. Yeah, there's so many talented interior designers and architects out there that I'm just have so much respect for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the question always is, within our design world, how do we be modern but also Australian? And so what is Australian? What is the language that sort of unifies us? And I sort of look to the landscape for sort of those clues. Sort of Glenn Murcutt really struck a chord with agrarian architecture, reinterpreting that to more modern homes, and did such a stunning job of that. And then it's evolved somewhat since then. And I think where we are now is really interesting, with a lot of the curvaceous forms of Luigi Rosselli that sort of lend itself to the landscape. And I often think, the furniture, like what furniture is appropriate for the Australian landscape as well, and just try to be inspired by nature, and sometimes biophilic design, like by way of my Pippi table, or looking at colours of the Australian landscape and doing the rammed concrete legs in those colours. So just try and tie in cues from the locality of nature and bring that in.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because even just listening to you talk, you think of the real true leaders of our industry, both past and present. They've all adopted something that's a little bit more than just the, copper trims, or what color bond finish, or, things like that, or powder coat finish. That's all plays a really true role in what we do and the functionality and the feasibility of the designs. But it's so nice hearing about where these ideas come from, as you say, Australian landscape, but also historically, where it all comes from.
Yeah, for sure.
How we can honor that in any given space.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Yeah, when you and I caught up for coffee, we were talking about, simplistic design and things like that. Some wording that you've used is sculptural simplicity. Is that something that you try to lead with both architecture and furniture?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Probably like strong silhouettes for furniture. So looking at, kind of, if you turn the lights off, what it would look like in shadow.
Yeah.
Or if you're drawing it, 3D modeling it, you do like a white rendered view, just to see what the sculptural form looks like without the material, and then the materials sort of add layering to that. And then architecture, it's probably more the proportions, light and scale and shape really sort of lend it that sculptural quality in the formal sense. But materials have such a huge role as well. I mean, they can totally transform a building or piece of furniture completely.
How do you find, having that conversation with clients around, like I mentioned earlier, picking a leather, for example?
Yeah.
for a long term, like a sofa that you want to last, a custom sofa or a bench seat, for example, in an architectural way, how do you have those conversations with clients around what will look good, but may not last you as long as something else that won't look as good?
Like function over aesthetics.
Tricky one.
The age-old question.
Yeah. I think we all get challenged with that.
For sure.
Yeah.
It depends, really. God, if a client's got young families, I totally understand they don't want to spend a fortune on, a nice mohair or something that's going to deteriorate. So it's understanding the life cycle of their needs. It might be loose slip covers, the machine washable, still nice, but have that functional aspect to it. And then later on when the kids are growing up, it might be a different conversation.
Call me and we'll have a mini chat at the studio, yeah.
And others go for rooms. They might go, okay, these are going to be our nice, like we're going to really treasure these pieces, but the rest of some other rooms are sort of a bit more relaxed and a bit more hard wearing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all depends. Even a client of mine in Mossman for a house really didn't want to do marble, and I really didn't want to do anything else but marble. We were sort of like, she loved the beauty of marble, so she was like, I really want this, but she just didn't want the staining, didn't want
the maintenance
and the hassle of it. So we did material research and found reconstituted stone from Aldodomus, and it was honed, looked and felt exactly like honed stone. And fulfilled the brief. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was cool.
Okay. And you were able to make a table out of that?
Yeah, well, we did the kitchen bench and
Splashbacks
from that. So I guess it's just looking at understanding the client and then really pairing their needs to appropriate materials.
Yeah, and it is. It's having that conversation up front, isn't it? I always have the conversation of investment areas in the home. For example, got a job on the Central Coast that there's a bit of like a spare bedroom play area for the kids, and there's a media room for the parents, and the kids won't really use the media room. So how is that media room? How can that be elevated?
Yeah.
Whereas the bed play stays kind of more functional and
that's it.
And then the main living area with the fireplace and everything, again, that's a bit more elevated.
Yeah.
But the modular, the kids will be all over it. So and the rug. But the fireplace is pretty. Yeah.
Investment pieces. I like that.
Yeah. Investment areas and investment pieces.
Yeah, totally.
And then it's also like navigating the budget with the client, because if you know that they've got a amount, as soon as you start to do those investment areas, you might go for a veneer over a polyurethane finish cupboard or joinery.
Yeah.
And they can love that because maybe they're not using it every single day. But then in those other areas where the kids are going to be all over it, or it's more of a general space, go for the polyurethane. Super sturdy.
Yeah, I think function, I'm really big on function, to be honest. I think like if it's not going to function well, it creates a lot of anxiety for people.
And you don't want them to look back on designs that we've done and go, oh, I wish I knew that wasn't going to last me.
Yeah.
I wish Daniel educated me on that. You don't want them to do that.
You don't want them to curse your name 5 years from now going, this designer did this to me.
And that's having your name on your studio, isn't it?
Yeah, and even with our timber products, so looking at that, we'd guide clients knowing what their preference is. Would say, look, our preference is to oil the wood because it looks beautiful. The natural characters of the timbers are there, but you need to treat it carefully with respect. Like if you're going to put stuff on it, you need to be careful.
Yeah.
And if you want like a wipeable surface, then go a waterborne polyurethane. But it does sit and sort of choke the grain of the wood a little bit. Yeah. So it still looks beautiful, but it just adds that layer of practicality.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the more we educate, it's such a big one. And it's the more knowledge we have to educate. So we're always having to be on top of all the knowledge, aren't we? Like do you find that you've got a lot of suppliers coming through and constantly updating you on the latest and it's staying across it all?
Yeah, it's hard to stay across it all, in all honesty. But I guess I've got my favorite materials that I love working with, and I'm right across those ones.
Okay.
So it's a pretty limited and narrow focus.
And do clients respect that? Pretty well? Okay, that's a great place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think it's so important when we do get to that point of I'm so confident in that product, or I'm so confident in that finish
Yeah.
because I've used it this many times, and I now know that my client's house from 5 years ago, it's still going strong.
Yeah.
So you've got that case study to
Yeah.
present to your new clients.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's next for your studio at the moment? Are you quite focused now on the architecture and those projects and building those, or furniture? Like, what's the ratio of where you're...
Bit of both. It's definitely 50-50 at the moment. So it's a pretty equal split in terms of my time investment. At the moment, we're finishing off some really prolific homes next year, which is super exciting. One of them's my first Ram Death projects, which I'm really excited about.
Wow. How long has that been going for?
That in the build's been going for just over a year now.
Okay.
So it's about a 2-year build.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just over.
Mm-hmm.
And in the works for, 4 years.
Yeah,
by the
I was
time they're
about to
finished.
say, total span.
Yeah, total smash 4 years. And then what else is next is I'm opening up my first furniture showroom in Sydney,
Yeah.
which will be really exciting. So I'll be personally taking interior designers through there and presenting and having like a hosting space as well, which will be in Bronte. So that'll be in the new year next year.
Okay.
And
And will that be like a pop-up kind of thing?
It'll be the lease is for 2 years. So
Oh, decent.
yeah, reasonable.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So exciting.
see how it goes. And then, I started producing as well in America and London as well. So applying the same business model here of locally made to order, sort of expanding into America and London as well.
It's just something on the side.
Yeah, staying on the side.
That's massive.
So that's been really fun. So it's just, I always wanted to try in Australia first and sort of develop the language and develop the collection and develop, all the skills of how to present it to market and then apply that to a broader community.
Yeah. Beautiful. And how did your connections overseas, were they organic, or have you pitched the...
They're organic, so through retailers who then introduced me to a few makers, and then it's sort of just
Nice.
slowly built from there. So again, it's been something that I haven't been rushing into, so it's just been slowly percolating in the background over the years.
Slow burns are better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
And again, considered.
Yeah.
It's much more considered.
Yeah.
Because I think I look back at anything I rushed and really pushed or forced, didn't end up how I wanted it anyway.
No, me too. I've tried to go fast sometimes, and it just doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Not for me, anyway.
No. And the more you accept that the rush isn't the best way, even though, you want to get something finished, or you think it's now or never.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
No, it never is. Never. You never look back and go, I'm so glad I rushed that.
Yeah, for sure. You don't enjoy the process as much as well. So yeah, try to enjoy the process as much as possible.
If you look back now, given your journey, is there anything that you'd tell your younger self?
Don't go fast. Don't.
No rushing.
Yeah, no rushing. Probably just take your time. Even more time is fine.
Yeah.
Just keep going, keep chipping away, and believing in it. Yeah.
And yeah, I hear everything that you're saying. And now that I know that you're, branching out overseas, how do you manage the balance across architecture, 6 staff, furniture, and looking to advance or expand, I should say, into the international market? How do you manage that with your personal time and boundaries? And
Not well at the best of times. I do work all the time, but more and more. So I've had to take time off on the weekends because I was finding I was working every weekend without fail. For many years, and
because you can, right?
after hours, it's sort of, I find it exciting. So I sort of found myself at the end of an architecture day busy. I'd reward myself with more work of doing some furniture designs and stuff.
You love it.
Yeah, but I've scaled right back now and really just sticking the work to within the 9 to 6 hours, or 8 a.m. to 6 p.m, a little bit longer, and then weekends off. So I've got a lot of downtime, and that's been helping create some balance as well, and also trying to design around sort of peak periods and then having moments of rest, so in between. So that's been helpful to sort of make it a bit more sustainable.
Yeah. And yeah, it's interesting you say sustainable because that's one thing I've noticed, experiencing burnout and all the things that we've discussed with several guests on the podcast. We all have dabbled in it. And then it's going, okay, moving forward, how can I do things differently to not go there again?
Yeah.
But yeah, even a couple of other guests have said that they all started out doing 7 days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're so excited and you feel like you really have to make some traction. But
And the opportunities are coming in.
yeah, the opportunities coming in and you can't say no. And
Yeah.
you really focus. But yeah, I think there's an easier way. It must be.
Yeah, surely. So Daniel, we wrap up with a funny question at the end. So my question to you is, what is the strangest client request that you've said absolutely not to?
I've had a couple of strange requests. One of them.
Cheryl.
Oh, well. One of them was, can you design a Georgian-inspired dog box for my dog?
Oh,
And I was like, I wasn't outraged. I was actually kind of excited.
okay.
But then I think the dog passed away, sadly, before I could
Get it
execute
started.
the design. But it was a pretty bizarre request.
You'd have to be in a really interesting place to want to invest in.
Yeah.
So you talk about where they sleep at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like a little,
Should be nice.
yeah, a little Georgian, nicely proportioned dog box. Yeah.
Any others?
Another client asked me, who is a young guy, he wanted 5 shower heads in his bathroom, in his ensuite. I was like,
Okay.
oh, it's like,
Sure.
all the parties.
I was just thinking that. Did you go ahead with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All done.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yeah, ready to roll.
That's so good. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for being a part of Behind the Design.
Pleasure.
So good to have you on.
No, thank you.
There's so much to take away from my chat with Daniel, that design doesn't need to be loud to have impact, that restraint takes bravery, and true creativity lies in simplicity, and that harmony between architecture, furniture, and life itself is what creates timeless design. For those listening, you can explore Daniel's work and his philosophy of quiet living at danielboddam.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow the show and share it with a friend who loves design as much as we do. I'm Camilla Ingall, and this has been Behind the Design. Until next time.